I reckon this is the most underprepared we've ever been on any episode we've ever done. What do you reckon?
I think it's yeah. I don't want to say that it's the most unprepared because I feel like I've been. I think I've done. But it's rare that you're unprepared.
Yeah, so what have we got on this episode? We do know that we have a massive interview with Danielle Harris, Scream Queen herself, and that's a good sizable one to get us through this without notes. Unprepared, let's let Danielle save our bacon.
We'll just rush through the bullshit that is us.
Yeah, that's right.
And just let Danielle carry the show.
Yeah, plus Boneheads, recommendations, all that kind of stuff. Oh, we've got Psycho Cop 2 versus
Maniac Cop 2.
So that's what you get on this show. So what I do have in my notes is Block 1, opening banter. Let's do it.
Let's do some banter. Let's make with chatty bants.
Hey everybody, welcome to Good Movie Monday. This is going to be an interesting one. I am Glenn. This is Ben here for your weekly dose of nerdy cinematic ramblings. And interesting one. I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about on this. Although we did.
Oh no, we went to the movies.
We can talk about that, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But before we do, let's tell everybody to go to goodmoviemonday.com, our website. From there, you can go to all of our social media platforms, and of course, do the like, share, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. Because as I say every week, it goes a long way. Definitely helps our case. That is out of the way, and of course, we've got the Boneheads. They're coming up. They're going to jump in and talk about 1998.
And they're all together again, which I love.
I know. I think we've got a couple of weeks worth of that.
That's great.
Yes, I enjoy them doing that. It'd be nice if they're all mic'd up, though. That'd be good.
I just love the enthusiasm, the extra enthusiasm that they have being all together.
Keep your eyes on Joe's hand movements for this one, everyone. He's very excited. He's like this the whole time.
But you notice every time he does this, Chad starts talking.
Every time that hand slips underneath and disappears. Let me get my mic set up here. This is all over the place. Yeah, so we did have a chance to chat with Danielle Harris not too long ago to discuss her new movie, Natty Knox, which is a new Dwight Little horror film. She gave us way more than we anticipated, which is fantastic.
It's great.
You're going to reap the benefits of that. Very fun. And, we went to the movies.
We did. And the embargoes are now lifted. We can talk about them. They were both severely embargoed, ridiculously embargoed.
Yeah, so one film that opened up Thursday just gone is 28 years later. Mm-hmm. The Danny Boyle's return to the 28 franchise, I guess you could call it.
And Alex Garland.
And Alex Garland as well, because they only sort of executive produced the second one.
Yeah.
Look, I think in terms of Danny Boyle in general, this is a return to form for him. Because I think in the last 10 years, I think he's been really hit and miss, but mostly miss.
I can't even think of what I know he did the Olympics when it was in London.
He did that
I don't know what he's
that
done
Beatles
since.
Yesterday movie. You know, the guy that wakes up and nobody remembers the Beatles.
Oh, I like that movie.
It was good, but Danny Boyle, it's not a Danny Boyle sort of film. What else did he do before that? He did the Steve Jobs movie, which was okay. It didn't really.
There's too many of them. I don't know which one did he do.
The Michael Fassbender one, I think.
Okay, I've only seen.
Which is like a real time movie, and it was okay. But once again, it's Danny Boyle.
Which is the one that has Seth Rogen as Wozniak?
I think that one.
It's that one. Okay, that's the one I've seen.
And Sarah Snook is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the one with
Kutcher. Ashton
with
Kutcher.
with the Kutch.
So anyway, 28 years later, I think this is the best of the trilogy. This was a really...
Wow, that's a...
Well, that's the interesting thing is because I deliberately went back and watched the previous two in the days ahead of the screening just so that I was really refreshed. It had been a long time since, particularly the first one. I hadn't seen that in forever.
Right.
And it does not hold up like I remember it. It was really frustrating to watch. Like, it's not as great as my younger self remembers. And I wondered if it was a case of whoever released the DVD, which I think was 20th Century Fox at the time.
Right.
I'm wondering if they'd cropped it because it felt like everything was too close up, that it wasn't framed properly. And I'm like, Danny Boyle is like in everyone's face, but it doesn't feel natural. It feels like we've zoomed in as opposed to being framed.
It did definitely had a kind of shot on video feel,
and that is really evident when you watch it again.
Watching it again. I mean, I look. It's very
lo-fi.
It's been a couple of years since I watched it, but not too long ago. I actually went out and bought them both on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And I watched them then, which is very unusual for me because I like to buy things and then never watch them.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking how much more I enjoyed the opening of the original than I did in this, when it's got the Johnny Cash when the man comes around and that montage. And it took me a while to kind of get into this one. And it was only when I kind of was like, oh, no, that's right. That's how we did the beginning of...
Yeah.
I just thought... Because I can't remember what the song was that he played over the intro. It was something, but it just didn't have the same... Like, I remember going to the cinema and seeing the first one and how much of an impact that had.
Huge on me at the time. And that's also because we hadn't had zombie fatigue yet, even though these are technically not zombies, just calm down, everybody. Yeah, that's right. But it was, it's very much a zombie film. We hadn't had many of them, and this, I think, led to that whole wave of, like, Walking Dead and everything else. And this inspired, I think, Romero to come back and start dabbling in it again. Yeah. So it was a very big film, very inspirational, not inspirational, very influential. But then the second one came along, and look, aside from the opening act, I hate part 2. Yeah. I hate it. Like, it bothered me so much that I got halfway through it last week and I had to stop. Like, this is fucking terrible.
No, look, it's apart from the opening scene, which is one of the most terrifying. Like, I really think, like, Dawn of the Dead, and I'm not even sure if Dawn of the Dead was made before this or not, but I feel like Dawn of the Dead owes it a lot.
Dawn of the Dead, of course it was.
The remake,
Zack Snyder one.
Yeah, okay. I don't know when that came out, but
I want to say first.
Yeah, because that scene in the bedroom at the start is a great opening kind of scene, but it's not as good as the opening scene.
Oh, hang on, you're talking about the new one? Because that's got a very...
Yeah, the new one has a very similar... Yeah. No, I was talking about the second one.
Yeah, with Robert Culler.
Yeah, the new one really tries for that. Mm-hmm. I think it pulled its punches. I think this one, in general, pulls its punches in terms of the gore and that kind of stuff.
See, I disagree, because I think this one was probably the most gratuitous of them as far as the gore goes.
It's weird, because in certain parts, you're 100% correct. But that opening scene with the kids...
It pulls it back a bit, yeah.
It all happened off screen.
Yeah, that is true. Nevertheless, I think that's probably leaving it to our imaginations. Like, I think that was probably the intention is, if you're a parent, you're going to feel this regardless. Yeah. And maybe we can't get it past the rating board if we show it. Nevertheless, I think, like, the movie just... once it hits the ground, like once we move into the contemporary time of the story, I loved everything about it. I love the adventure. I love the setting. I loved Ralph Fiennes in this.
I was going to say, look,
my God,
we've had this discussion multiple times, often on the mic, about my general dislike for Ralph Fiennes. He's excellent in this film. He's like
a gentleman barbarian. He's the most brutal man in the whole fucking world, and yet he is a complete gentleman.
He's civilized.
He's so good.
Civilized barbarian.
Yeah, and look, I love where it went, and I love the fact that it is like a bridge movie to another sequel that's coming. Like, it's sort of like you said, it's sort of it's half a movie. Yeah. Which is great. Because, look, I just loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It's the best of the three for me, and I'm glad to see Danny Boyle back.
I mean, it would have been a complete film. Like, it does have a beginning, a middle, and an end, but then...
It starts over.
But then, the kid makes a decision that leads into the next film. And that, it's surprising that they did. I mean, I can't imagine... the alternative.
I think it's a teaser.
It actually works better doing it the way that they did.
And the final scene is just too delicious not to show people, like, let's give them a taste of what's to come. Because if that's the direction they're going in, fuck me, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So what else did we see?
We saw F1 the movie.
F1, is that the official title? Because I thought it was F1 with all the promos, and then last night I'm seeing the posters and it's F1 the movie.
It's F1 the movie. It's what it says on IMDb. So that's
which is like today's version of Days of Thunder. Really, yeah, very similar trajectory with the story, similar characters. A lot of fucking car accidents in this. There's a lot of wrecks.
Yeah. That's the thing that's so surprising about this is after watching Michael Mann's early. Mm-hmm. Like race car movie, what was that?
Michael Mann's. Oh, the Ferrari?
The Ferrari
with
one.
Adam Driver?
With Adam Driver, yeah. And you watch, the accidents in that are so horrific and like people are just like decapitated and stuff. Yeah. In this one, The accidents seem just as horrific, yet they're in bed for 2 days.
But also, I'm like, yeah.
Like Brad Pitt's
I
Superman.
found in this movie, though, because it takes place between a series of 9 races on the F1 circuit, I think between each race is a considerable amount of time that you don't really notice while the movie's going along, because it is moving at a breakneck pace. That's probably what it has going for it for me. I think it moves at lightning speed. The race sequences are really thrilling and exciting, but the problem is, as always, 40 minutes too long. Like, it really dragged on, particularly.
You really had an issue with it. I did not feel any of that.
I had an issue with it in the last 10 minutes.
I would
Hurry
say
up
maybe 20 minutes.
Because I wanted to go home.
You were
I had
done
a
with it.
big day, and I just kept leaning into bed saying, man, time to go.
I'm ready for this to be over.
That's right.
I'm ready for this to be over. And usually it's me doing that. But I actually, this time, I was like, this could just keep going.
Oh, really?
I was fine with it. But I think you're 100% correct. And I think it does play funny buggers with the time.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how those race cars are put together, because it did seem like they stack them and then 2 minutes later they got they swap it in and out the parts and just
Or in most cases, I believe, and this is only from my knowledge of having some family that have done sort of racing on the Phillip Island circuit and things like that with the bikes, in that you got a frame that you're just constantly repurposing. So you can smash it. The frame's usually intact. If it's not, you just bend it back into shape, and
then they put on
and more fiberglass and all this kind of stuff. And fiberglass is easily meltable, flexible. They've got a truck full of.
I just assume now that everything's 3D photocopied. Yeah, they just print up another one out of like some kind of a resin.
Yeah. Look, Brad Pitt's fantastic in this. I don't think there's not much substance beyond the spectacle. But you don't really want too much substance.
Yeah.
Although, that guy right at the start that's popping up in everything is in Mission Impossible. He's been in a few things. He popped up and he kind of disappeared.
Oh, the guy, the guy from Boardwalk Empire and all that sort of stuff.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just vanished. I thought, man, this guy's in it. This is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, he's just
I thought he was going to be like the Robert Duvall character.
If they were going to follow on and do because the whole thing about Brad Pitt's character is that he's competing in every car race. Like, he's trying to win every one of them.
Yeah.
So at the start of the film, the intro to him is basically him winning Daytona.
Yeah.
Which is Days of Thunder.
Yeah, that's right.
He's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to come in one race, I win. Which is great.
I'll tell you what I appreciated most about this movie was the fact that you got 2 drivers on the same team, and they're both nice guys. Like, the young guy's cocky, and he's a smart ass, and he's got a temper like a young guy does. But overall, he's a nice guy. He's a mummy's boy. He's friendly to people. And so's Brad Pitt. He's not a mummy's boy, but he's friendly to people. Yeah. And in these movies, usually they go on loggerheads and clash in, and they don't do that in this. Not to that extent.
Well, that's the thing. The thing that is so weird is that they are kind of teammates. And the young guy immediately hates Brad Pitt.
Yeah, when he on the
Brad
scene.
Pitt hasn't done anything. Like, he's like, oh, you walked. There's even they have the confrontation. You swanned in here he literally just walked in and said hello. Like, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, that wears off pretty quickly though, doesn't it? Look.
Oh no, it goes through the whole. He hates him through the whole right until the very end. But he's like watching him and
I guess so.
Kind of learning.
But in his own sort of bubble, he's still a nice guy.
Yeah.
That's right. He wasn't like an asshole to everybody.
No. He's just an asshole to his,
he's threatened.
He's threatened. His major rival,
But
he keeps his mouth closed when it's clearly,
The question is, did I like this more than Gran Turismo? No, I think that was the better movie.
See, I would have agreed with you, but I've rewatched Gran Turismo and I didn't like it as much the second time.
Interesting.
But
maybe
that's interesting. But maybe I won't. This one's pretty weak on the rest of the plot. Gran Turismo has a better plot.
That's what I was just saying. It's like it's more style over substance.
Yeah, but this is more about the racing, whereas Gran Turismo has. This movie doesn't have the training sequences and stuff.
Okay. Well,
whereas,
how does this hold up against Days of Thunder?
I think this is a better film than Days of Thunder. I'll enjoy watching Days of Thunder more.
Yeah. Okay.
But Days of Thunder is entertaining for the off the racetrack stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie is actually better for the racetrack stuff.
I'll give it that. Yep.
And that's what's so interesting about this film, and I think it's the mark of success of any sport movie.
Yeah.
Is that if you can come out of it having enjoyed it when it's about a sport you do not give a fuck about, then it's a success.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I could not care less about F1 or any of that stuff.
100% get it. I love a sports movie where I don't love that sport.
And amazingly, because the key to all good sports movies are that they're team movies, really.
Yep.
And the ones that falter are usually ones where it's a solo athlete, because then it's just one person dealing with their own inadequacies, and they don't have anyone to bounce off other than their coach or something.
Yep.
And somehow they turned what is a race where one guy is in a car for 60 laps into a team sport.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they do give a shit about each
Not
other.
only do we get the lap side view of the players on the sides and in the pit, we got like this room full of people on monitors, like giving analytics and stuff. Like that was fascinating, which would be a thing. I've just never imagined it would be.
Yeah, the computer tech on display in this is. I was talking to we did kind of bump into a friend of ours, Mark, there at the cinema, and he kind of reminded me that Ford vs Ferrari was his favourite film of a couple of years ago. I think it was mine as well.
It's a great film.
Top year. I think that's a better film than this.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's.
I agree.
But funnily enough, once again. But then there's none of that. There's none of that computer analytics stuff of the car. It's just a bunch of guys going, because it actually is one of the most interesting parts of the film that they didn't really resolve. And I thought Brad Pitt was going to come in and resolve it, but at the start of the film, the car they're driving is a shitbox. Like it's got problems with steering, and the young guys knew. So, and when the engineer is asking him what's wrong with the car, he can't explain it. Yeah. He's just like, oh, it just does. It does. It goes. It's bad when I speed up, and it's bad when I slow down. And then you think Brad Pitt's going to come in and go, well, because he's the old hand and knows everything. But he doesn't really. He just goes, oh, yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah. Whereas in Ford vs Ferrari, they're literally out there. He's going, yep, this is what's wrong. This is where it's, because they're all everything.
I feel like Brad Pitt had those smarts, though.
Oh, he did, but he just wasn't.
Yeah, articulating it.
He didn't articulate it particularly well, yet. He's so good looking, and and I think Brad Pitt, funnily enough, is heading into Julia Roberts territory, where now in every film someone has to say that he's good looking. Well, now he's just 60.
At least this time it was funny.
Yeah,
and look,
I did like Kerry Condon was in it. I always enjoy her, and when they let her have her actual accent.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a nice plus.
And Tobias Menzies, and there's so many good players on the peripheral in this.
And Javier Bardem, he didn't have to disgrace his accent.
All I can think of now is Perdita Durango. Like every time I see him, having just done it on the show.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Now for something completely different, Ben. This is something we have not done on the show yet.
What's that? Oh,
what's in the box? What's in the
box? What's in the box?
What's
in the box today?
Look, we haven't revealed what we're doing. We haven't come up with a title for what we're doing, but more or less, we're going to start doing some unboxings on this show. And Ben's got a beauty.
Pop that out of the way. Now this is a box that was delivered to me by the good folk at Umbrella Entertainment,
and it's mostly a mystery box.
Yeah, I don't really know what's in it. I don't know if you've got a blade of some sort.
Oh, I do, but if you'd prep me, I'd have it with me.
Because they've never done it with this packaging before.
Okay, well, it's not the first time I've left the desk while we record. You just do that, and if I have to fast forward, I will.
So this is at least in part, it's the Wake in Fright Ultimate Edition. I'm not sure what they called it. The premium edition that's available on their website. It does come with this is amazing. The Yabba. First time in the Yabba. The Yabba beer cozy.
Oh.
Which is very nice. Wake in Fright. Bunda Yabba.
Could have been drinking with that tonight.
Could have been. Oh, I'll put my drink in it.
It's not one of those. It's one of those that has a bottom too. It's not some of them are hollow. You can wear them as bracelets.
Yeah. It comes with a spoon. I didn't know that it came in a souvenir spoon.
Oh, spoon! My nan would love this.
Comes with a 2-up kit.
Now this is controversial because technically this is illegal.
It's illegal. Yeah, that's right.
Wow. And if you're watching this from overseas and don't know, 2-Up is a game that is only permitted legally on one day of the year. That would be Anzac Day.
Yeah.
And basic premise of it is like it's just a flip of the coin game.
You got 2 coins and you have to guess. But they've also done the coins with the X's on the eyes, like Donald Pleasance has on the in the film.
Wow, that's hefty too.
Yeah, it's top quality. Oh, I'm loving this. A Wake and Fright pot glass.
A pot. Yeah, look at that.
It's amazing in the film the look that they give him when he doesn't want to have it. He doesn't want to drink a beer.
If you've ever been to those sort of towns, you'll understand. That they've put a lot of thought into this release.
And a bottle opener. Where was this last week? Yeah. When I was trying to open that Warritos.
Not only a bottle opener, one of those ones that sticks to the fridge.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
All right. Let's oh no, these are actually they just unwrap. It's like pass the parcel, except
this is also a.
Ooh, that's something else.
Okay, we'll save that for later.
That's one of the other things in the box.
This is one of those SMR videos.
Yeah. There's my T-shirt.
There's a T-shirt.
There is a T-shirt. Look at this. Oh, it's so satisfying.
See, and clearly not. You haven't been through this before.
No.
This is all open for the first time.
Oh, look at the quality of this. The shirt is so... The material is super heavy.
That is awesome.
Wake and Fright, check out this on the back there.
Suitable for adults only. Look at that. Oh, it's got the old title, the alternative title, Outback.
Outback. And if you see this image here, this poster of Wake and Fright, we parodied it for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's right.
We did Ozploitation variants of... and that was one of them. What is this now?
It's good to see they got your size there, Ben.
Yes, I got a hefty one. Oh, there's I think this is a tea towel.
Oh my God, that's going on the oven.
Where's this one open?
This is like
It's been sealed.
It's like a grandparent's paradise. I say that in the most affectionate term possible. Look at that upside down, upside down. You hold that side.
Look at that.
Yeah. Can you
Look at
see it?
that
You
bad
can
boy.
see it on the screen. Yep. That's amazing,
You're a yabba man. You're a yabba man.
man. And if you don't like doing dishes, well, you got a hefty cum rack.
First time in the cum rag. Oh, what's this one? It's another T-shirt.
Is it for this film?
I believe it is. It's a white one. Benny don't wear white because fat doesn't do well in a white T-shirt. It's not slimming.
And you can see those egg white stains if you're using white. Oh, look at that. That's the beer. It's the beer one.
The beer. What's his name?
Chips Rafferty. Chips Rafferty. That's right.
Rafferty's character, dressed as he's the ranger park. He's the sheriff or something, but he looks like a park ranger.
And then you got the little chest logo there as well. Same thing.
There we go.
Oh, that is cool.
Lovely.
That is cool. Cool.
Yeah, let's actually find the. No, that's not it. That's not it. It's got to be this. It's got to be this one. That's all that's left in the box.
Are we done with oh no, this is
the actual discs.
We're getting to the juice.
Look at that. Look at that bad boy. And
there's a knife there on your side.
We pop this bad boy open, which I'll do very carefully.
This is exciting. What I love about this is I don't know what you call it, the little slip case, like a cellophane slip case.
Yeah, the acetate.
The acetate tinted. Very nice. This is a
no.
Juicy box.
Very nice.
Oh, we're done with that.
Let's pop that down.
Okay.
So, there we go. And that comes off.
Ooh, look at that.
And what I love is that covers the onsert so that you can actually keep it with it.
There. That's right.
Once it's open, it doesn't become a liability.
I have a whole pile of onserts over there.
Yeah.
I don't get rid of them. I just have to put them to the side. All right, this is chunky.
Bang this
Chunky
thing in.
monkey.
So what have we got here? So there we go. That's the 4K with the slip case. And there are there's the coins.
That's a good looking slipcase.
That's a nice slipcase. And there is the
Have a drink, mate.
Blu-ray disc art with the original poster.
Yes, gorgeous. Oh, it's got a coaster inside.
Oh, and a poster.
And
Fold-out poster.
That's right. Ooh, okay, the coaster's on the floor.
The coaster's gone. So this it's got... Okay, so this is a hardback book.
That is a chunky book.
It's got the original screenplay by Evan Jones, Lost and Found by Anthony Buckley, 50 Degrees in the Shade by Peter Galvin, who's worked on some of the extras on this. That's Not Us by Gregory Marks.
It's the Outback poster.
Sunstruck, A Goon Abroad by Paul Harris. That'd be interesting. The US Press Kit, Poster Gallery, and Wake in Fright by Tina Kaufman, which I'm assuming is an essay.
A lot of attention to detail on this poster, Ben. A little bit of blue down there.
Oh, yeah. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So what's in the other book? Whoops.
I mean, apologies to the people that listen to this podcast because this is a very visceral
This is a
kind
visual
of thing.
Yeah, just jump over onto the YouTube channel and watch it. So this is the actual book by Kenneth Cook that Wake in Fright was based on.
I can't reach the coaster. Hang on. I got it.
Just put your head in my lap, mate, and you'll get down there. And, of course, the obligatory lobby cards.
They're good size ones too.
There we go. With stills from the film. All black and white. Looking pretty good. That's a bit... yeah. So, I'm just looking at them. I'm not showing them off. Like, look at these stills. But, yeah, a pretty definitive Wake in Fright. And I know that Umbrella actually did a bunch more restoration work on it. Like it was a big deal, the Madman restoration, but Umbrella have actually done more work, especially in the opening scenes, which were super rough. And that's all been corrected and looks like $1 million.
To think that this was once a lost film.
Yeah.
That's what's astonishing about, like, the fact that it's not only had a release at all physically, but this kind of deluxe pack, 20 years ago, maybe less, like you couldn't find this film anywhere.
Yeah. And I know this has a new audio commentary by Peter Galvin, who's been working on a definitive book about the film for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has, and this is, something that I remember Umbrella setting up, but Mark Hartley, the filmmaker behind Not Quite Hollywood, went to the Yabba and sought out all the locations and actually kind of mapped out where everything was in Broken Hill, and I think it was all just Broken Hill, but wherever they shot, there's a couple of places in Sydney as well.
Man, I really want to know what's like. Does this have the little coin slots in there somewhere? I don't know.
I would assume
I'm not going to open it. It's not mine to open.
Oh no, we'll do that.
All right.
It's we'll be on camera committing an illegal act.
Whoever.
If you, it's a legit coin. It's actually like
A penny.
like an old school penny.
I wonder if it's like legal tender. Like if you
I think you can still trade them in at the bank.
That's what I mean. If you go and have them evaluated.
No, it doesn't have the slots.
Well, that's interesting.
You just have to rest the coins
Yep.
on the stick and then toss them up.
I'm guessing too. The slots are more the professional version of 2-Up. Like if you were playing it at a pub, you're probably using just a plank of wood.
But it does come with a little
Instruction
panel.
Is it like it's probably a legal disclaimer?
Is there
you can only play this.
No, I don't think they took into account the legal ramifications of this. Funnily enough.
And then here we come along and
we just do
expose it.
But there we go. What a cracker of a release.
Yeah, that's bang for buck. If you're putting money into this for your collection, you're getting a hell of a lot out of it, and it's good quality. Like even this bottle opener, it's heavy.
It's heavy.
Yeah,
got some weight to it.
Cool. We got to do this more often.
Yeah.
All right, now to the chunky part of this episode, mate.
So unflattering.
To
Danielle.
Okay, well, I'll go back and do it again. Now to the sexy part of this episode, Ben.
Much better.
Sometimes I just don't think when I talk. Danielle Harris, we had a chance to chat with her.
We did.
Fantastic. Sometimes, we set up these things and, there's a minimum window of opportunity. It's, it's a short amount of time promised. This one I was expecting 20 minutes, I think. And we ended up with what you're about to see or hear, which is a good, 45
40
minutes.
We talked about everything. She's live from a home in Texas somewhere.
Yeah, very insightful. She's a podcast host herself as well, so she knows how to talk. And, Natty Knox is the movie. That is what it's promoting. That is out now, available on DVD, maybe on digital as well. It's Dwight Little, the guy that made Halloween 4 and Free Willy 2 and Mark for Death and a whole lot of other movies. He's a big deal. Anaconda 2.
The best of the Anacondas, arguably.
Absolutely. So this is a reunion for them. We'll let her do the talking. Enjoy. And
because did you say Halloween 4 and 4?
4, yeah.
Which also starred Danielle and
yeah, it's a reunion. So enjoy this, and this gives us a good break to maybe grab something to eat and
and just clean up after the unboxing.
A town knows its secrets. Town knows how to hide them too.
She sleeps with the worms under the ground.
Who's that outside? Don't make a sound.
Natty knocks 9 times.
Natty knocks 9 times. Don't answer your door. Close all your blinds. Hide under your bed.
Or she'll take off your head.
I thought that was just an old ghost story.
Where do you think those stories come from?
I don't know. Maybe she's still alive.
We have to tell someone. We should call the cops.
What the hell is going on here? Help coming!
You can't be.
What are you doing here?
fantastic to be chatting with you. How are you?
I'm good. Just wrangling children and, doing the mom stuff, and they're in sports and football practice, and I'm in Texas. It's very I feel like I'm in a movie half of the time with the way they are here with sports and school. It's very, and I live in the country, so it's like even weirder for me. Everyone's still kind of cliquey and went to high school together, and the jocks are still the jocks and the cheerleaders were still the cheerleaders. Now their kids are cheerleaders, and it's very strange.
But your kids have a movie star mum. Your kids have a movie star mum, so.
I was going to say, is it Varsity Blues style in this town
Yes.
where the quarterback of the local football team has a billboard?
Yes, like
dedicated
the
to them
schools literally shut down. My children's elementary school will shut down when the high schoolers have a big game that they're playing. It's
Amazing.
crazy, and people get all dressed up like Friday nights are the games, and my kids are 6 and 8. Like they're playing flag football. They're not actually like really doing anything, and they play sharks and minnows, and the women get like done. They have everything is like they're like going out on a Friday night, and I'm like I can't even fathom that would be like my Friday night out would be to wear the school colors and have my hair and makeup done, and it's a whole nother level over here, guys.
So it's fair to say you're not what we would call a soccer mum. Like you're not one of those.
No. If I had a daughter, she would play football. I can't imagine being there and being the cheerleader's mom. It's just not. Yeah, I'm glad I have boys. That's not my jam.
That's hilarious. Well, let's get down to some business here. We're here to talk about Natty Knox first and foremost. Yes. Talk about it like a full circle moment. Like you're working with Dwight Little again on a different type of Halloween movie. Was it a no-brainer to jump into this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, he called me and was basically like, "I need a favor, help." He said, "I'm financing this movie myself, and I need you to do it, and I need you to work for free." I was like, "I got it, Dwight, no problem." I've been wanting to work with him for a really long time, and he's exactly the same and lovely, and it was so interesting for him and I, but really for him to be on set, I think. And he kept saying to me, like, "I can't believe little Jamie is like, you're playing Diane, and you have kids, and you're a realtor." And he was just sort of tripping out about what that looked like and couldn't really wrap his mind around it. And it was cool to get to talk to him and ask him questions about like, hey, what was I like when I was a kid on set? And what was that? How did that feel? And am I different now? Isn't it like, what's the differences? What's the similarities? And I also wanted to know what Donald Pleasance was like to direct, because these are questions I can only really ask him as an adult now.
Yes.
And he's great. And then Jason James Richter, producer, and also in it. And Jason and I did Free Willy together, and then Dwight met Sandy, our other producer, and now Dwight's wife, and Jason's mom on the set of Free Willy 2. So it's just kind of a weird, funny little thing, and he's just great. He still feels like dad to me.
Yeah.
In a sort of way, very comforting and loving and safe and smart. And I still feel like a little girl around him, no matter how old I am. I still feel like I just want to make him so proud of me. So I was really happy to be a part of this.
That's amazing. And
was there?
You're going, Ben.
Oh, sorry. Was there a point where you turned to him when you're like looking at all the other kids acting in this film and going, "I was better than these guys"? When I was like,
No, they were. They were so good. They had it easy compared to what he put me through. That's for sure. But I mean, I am protective. I didn't really get to see the kids. I wasn't part of any of the kids stuff. I was part of the kid, not part of like the scary stuff or the big dramatic stuff as much. But I'm protective over kid actors, especially in horror movies. And I'm just now playing a mom where I get to be on set with some littler ones that I want to kind of take under my wing and make sure they're really happy doing what they want to do, and they don't have crazy moms, and they really want to be there, and So yeah, it was definitely a full circle moment for me. That's for sure.
Do you find that now, thanks to the internet and that kind of thing, that the kids are actually much more aware of the fact that it is a horror film and that, the scary stuff isn't real? Like when you were...
Yeah, I mean, I think it also depends on how much their kids are, the kids are sheltered by their parents from that stuff. But there's definitely, kids have way more access to things that are probably it's less scary, one would hope. I don't know. I mean, my kids are 6 and 8, and they're still scared of everything, and they still, run to turn the light on and jump back in bed, as though I literally had to say to Carter, my 8-year-old, last night, I said, there's nothing under your bed. You actually don't have, it's like a platform bed. There's no way for anything to get under the bed. And I am literally sitting here with you, and I'm 10 feet from you. So you don't have to jump into the bed as though something's going to grab you. So, I mean, it's possible they're way more mature than we were, but I think that there are things that just are innately still scary for a kid, regardless.
And I mean, we have all seen Halloween. It's the wardrobe that you've got to watch out for, not the bed.
Yeah, basically. Exactly. That's true.
So I'm wondering. I've loved Dwight Little for ages. Like he's a fantastic filmmaker. But what is he like as an older man directing compared with when he was a younger man? Is there much difference?
I think he's the same. No, I mean, he's still got this like very light spirit and an ease about him. He doesn't ever have to do anything 100 times. He does, it's almost like, hey, Dwight, you sure you have it? I mean, it's, maybe just one more for safety, and we're good. We move on. So the vibe is very different. I haven't done a horror movie. It just came to me. I've not done a horror movie where it was someone that was trained on film, using film. Everyone that I've worked with over the last 2 decades, really, that's directed me in horror, it's all been, aside from Rob Zombie, who didn't start, it's all been these cameras, where you can do things 100 times and you let the camera roll and make mistakes, and there's less preparation that comes nowadays, unfortunately. More like roll the dice and see what happens on set, and we can just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, where Dwight is so old school with knowing what he wants and coming to set ready for it, that I haven't experienced that in so long. And it was so nice to not have to do something, I guess, 500 times in these really emotional, high intense scenes where it can be very exhausting and daunting at the end of the day. And so he's kind of the same. I mean, he directs like exactly how I remember him directing, with sort of kid gloves in a certain way, and he definitely is sassier and has more of a naughtiness maybe than he showed around me when I was a kid. But it's the same. So it was kind of cool to have that mentality, even though we weren't directing on film. If that makes any sense.
It does. Have you been like in close proximity to him over the years? Have you been in touch with your family, friends?
He's cast a couple. He's directed a couple of TV things, From Dusk Till Dawn, a couple times, and I've auditioned for those shows, and I've called him, and when I've seen on the breakdown, like, hey, anything horror, I always look and see like who's directing, who's producing, in case I could email someone like, hey, gonna go in for this, just put in a good word for me, director man, and sometimes I get lucky, and sometimes it goes, I don't really know necessarily when you're, for television anyway, when you're directing, how much say you necessarily have in the casting process anymore, where it used to be a bit of a different story. But in film, especially this one, since it was self-financed, I think he had all of the say. But I kept in touch with him a little bit here and there, and hey, I'm going in from Dusk Till Dawn, and put in a good word, or I would message him after and say, okay, well, I fucking bombed that, so I don't even want you to watch that tape. That was horrible. I don't know what I did. I tried, Dwight, it just didn't work for me. But I was always kind of trying to find things, if I saw his name pop up, to be able to work together over the years. And we did Marked for Death together, the Steven Seagal film, right after we did Halloween, and because Halloween was his first film and my first film, and he said to me very seriously one day, I remember him saying to me, if I ever have anything that I could bring you in on, we're gonna work together again. And I believed it, because it's my first movie, and then you get older and you go, oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, nobody ever follows through with what they say, and you rarely get to work with anybody again, or even stay friends. And he did. As soon as Mark for Death came up, he called and was like, this is yours. I want you to do this. And so it was cool that he did it this time. And we talk, even after that, we've talked a lot about the idea of like what would another Halloween movie look like together, and if we ever did another Halloween, if we ever got the chance in this universe that they're creating to come back, and Alan as well, we've talked with him. Like, I had this crazy idea during COVID, which I reached out to him saying like, hey, what if we got together and like we shot something, we created the story of where Jamie would be now, and you directed it and I starred in it and Alan wrote it, and we made it what it could have been if Halloween 5 had gone a different way, and what do you think if we did that, and then just like gave it to Malik and said, hey, look, we want to do this. Would you ever think about doing this? And we didn't end up doing it, but I hadn't known until I read Dwight's book, actually, which I have sitting here, Still Rolling. I didn't really know about the process of casting me and Ellie, and how he came about as a director to getting that project, and what an influence or what a strong support Mustafa Akkad was in his process, and how that dynamic doesn't really happen as much anymore with producers and directors, and it's usually a business transaction, and Instagram followers and a whole bunch of other stuff that should be irrelevant to filmmaking nowadays. But it was really cool to see that, and to still have that. We still have that like old school way of thinking about making movies together. So it's nice to have that relationship still.
Yeah, 100%. Firstly, I had no idea that Dwight had written a book, so I reckon I'm gonna have to hunt that down and
yes,
read
and
it.
here I have. I'll show you. Hold on, I have it literally sitting right here.
Mike
It's
Myers
called.
in the background.
Yeah, it's called Still Roll. Oh, did you see Michael Myers, the head? Oh, wait. It's funny only because the body, he's usually in the corner, but I had hand surgery this last week, and I was moving and the mannequin broke, and maybe that's why my kid runs into his bed every morning. Or at night when the lights are off. I didn't even think about that. My office is next door to his bedroom. That's why he bolts down the hallway. But it broke, so I haven't been able to put it up. And I had my housekeeper here day before yesterday and helping with stuff. And I didn't realize that she just put the head right there on my I was doing my taxes. So
Yeah.
he's on the little kind of creepily sitting over there behind me. But yeah, this is Dwight's book, Still Rolling Inside the Hollywood Dream Factory, and
Amazing.
he sent this to me. And let's see, what did he write? He wrote something in here, and it was funny because I had Ellie Cornell on my podcast talk scary to me that I host with Scout Compton, who's in the other Rob Zombie's Halloweens with me. And I had Ellie on, and we were talking about Dwight in the book, and I read to her on the air what he wrote to me, and she was funny. She's like, "That's funny. He said the same thing to me," but it wasn't true. He said to me, "To Danielle, my first and most important leading lady, my forever Jamie, with love, your pal Dwight." And he talks about it, and has to me personally, about how he gauges film based on the relationships, and that he always has a baseline of the Jamie and Rachel characters, and how their relationship with one another and their connection is what really resonated with fans and with the audience and with people, that it didn't become about Michael Myers. It became about, these two girls, these sisters, and I think that's a really good kind of good thing to have in your mind when you're directing and you're writing, and it's about the relationships. And I think that's why I've been able to have a career as long as I have, because I think people kind of felt that. And then if I look at my fan base, it's all kind of our age. I'm assuming I'm right about your age, and it's like we all grew up together, and maybe it's the first movie that you saw that you weren't allowed to see, and you resonated with her, and you were like, "Oh my God, if that could happen to her, it could happen to me, and this is fun and scary." And then we grew up together, and there was a sister feeling, or a crush feeling maybe, or something that gets stirred up in kids, boys primarily, right around that age. So it's been it's what started my career, and has kept me, thank God, still working and surviving the child actor curse.
I also can't think of any slasher movie of that era where they've got a kid as the lead. It's really unique.
No, I mean, maybe Poltergeist ish, but she wasn't really. It really wasn't her. It was her movie, but it wasn't her.
Yeah, she wasn't kicking
movie.
ass.
No, she wasn't kicking ass. I mean, it's weird. I have watched. I've as I've gotten older, now that I have kids, I've taken time to really watch these movies, and it's my nephew's 10, and it's crazy to think that at that age that I was able to go there and do those things, and I don't know if I could access that now as an adult. But there's something kind of pretty remarkably amazing and horrifically fucking weird that was there at such a young age as a kid. But yeah, I don't think there really was much. I think there was much. I mean, it started, Pet Sematary, and there were a couple of little things that there were featured kids, but it was mostly teenagers.
Yeah.
And older.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So speaking of your fan base, and I think I know the answer to this question, but you do a lot of conventions and things like that. What's the film you get asked about the most?
Halloween 4. I mean, it all started from Halloween. It's always Halloween.
Dumb
no
question.
matter what I do. Yeah, always Halloween. It's always the same questions, which is why we started the podcast, because Scout and I were like, I just would love for everybody to know who we are. And you guys have the show, I mean, it's we get asked the same things most of the time. So it's nice to have a platform where we could have different conversations at conventions. People feel like, with the start of COVID, when we started the show and we started just talking about stuff, regular stuff, it was a way for us to allow the fans into our lives and to get to know us on a different level, so we could have better conversations at shows. So people didn't just come up to us and say, the questions are always, were you scared? How old were you? What was Donald Pleasance like? Do you have nightmares? Did you know about Halloween? Did you know it was going to be so big? What did your parents think of it? And then it goes to, what was Rob Zombie like? Or did Rob go after you, knowing, wanting you in the movie? And then I go through the story. Or why weren't you in Halloween 6? It's the same stuff. So it's cool to have this other thing where we could talk about real life things that actually matter, and give somebody the okay to come and ask more personal stuff, or things that are more interesting for us to talk about at shows anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Rob Zombie was the first guest we had on this show, and it's
Oh
probably
my God,
probably
wow.
the only moment that I've like been really starstruck.
I can't get Rob to come on my art damn show. I'm like, how many times do I have to call you? He won't come on the show. So that is awesome. That's great. How was he on the show?
Yeah.
He's quirky, you know.
He's
He's
quirky.
a little.
He's very, but he was very down to earth. Like he was.
Yeah.
It was to promote Three from Hell, so he was just
Got it.
in the mood to chat and
Doing his thing, yeah.
And Ben works for a film festival that premiered it, so like it was just the right time.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
What festival do you work for, and when is it? Because I just directed another feature, and we're just about to. I'm going to go next week actually and look at the first cut, and we're starting to do our submissions. And I've yet to come over to Australia.
Well, it's Monster Fest. Is this Last Chance Motel that you're talking about?
Yes,
Because I did want to
yes.
ask you about this.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's Monster Fest. So we're in October, kind of October, November every year in Melbourne, and actually, well, the rest
All
of
around the
Australia.
country.
We
Yeah.
kind of, we do it everywhere, but the main festival is in Melbourne. So yeah, look, we definitely would love to. Would love to screen
Yeah,
it if
because
it's
I'm going to
ready.
be, I'm not great with geography, but I have a feeling that Ireland is the exact opposite. It's not the same direction that I would be going, but I'm going to be over, at least in the UK, but I think I'm in the wrong part of the world.
Yeah, no matter where you are, it's a long fucking way away.
I have a ton of, we
Yeah,
have
that-
actually very, very close friends that are over in Sydney, and they make their way over here often. We've met them in Hawaii, and they love coming to California. So they're really good friends and clients of my husband. So we keep in touch with them all the time. But I've only been offered one convention appearance to come over, and it was years and years and years and years ago. And I think it was in Sydney and Perth and maybe
Was that like
Brisbane.
Supernova?
Yeah, it was Supernova, exactly. Which I
Supernova,
don't really
yeah.
do. I mean, this is, God, I was like 32, 33. I mean, this is a long time ago. And then I think they actually, but it's 2 weeks you have to be there because they want you to go from one weekend to the other
Yes,
weekend.
yes,
And
that's
of
right.
course I could do that when I'm in my 30s without having children. And then I haven't been able to for the last decade. So, but I still want to get over, but there's not a lot of horror
No.
conventions over there, really. Are there or no?
There's no horror. There used to be. There was one. This guy Steve Dillon.
Oz
started
Horrorcon.
one.
Oz Horrorcon.
It was called Steve Dillon's Oz Horrorcon.
Oh, God.
Everyone was like, "Who's
And
Steve
it was really
Dillon?"
just, it was all about Steve Dillon.
Oh, God. You should be an actor. Oh, God. Wow. Well, I would love to, this is definitely something that it's on my list, and the kids talk about it all the time, but it's having the money to fly 4 people. I can't, I have to lie down. So it's like, where can I get, $40,000 to fly over
Yeah,
Australia,
it's not cheap.
basically.
Yeah. And Supernova is a really good option for that because Supernova do bring over. They bring over a lot of guests, and they bring over.
Yes.
We haven't done it for a while because since COVID and stuff, we haven't been able to bring out guests. Although we're looking at doing it again in the near future. But Supernova, because they do the 2 weeks, but they've just got such a massive. Like we're a horror film festival, so our draw is pretty niche here. Like
Right,
there's not,
right.
It's not that huge of a thing. Like, and because we're at Halloween, we always are around Halloween. So getting guests who don't have much
It's
bigger
really hard.
commitments, they're like,
I
well,
mean, any foreign show appearance is really hard for us, solely because, for everybody listening and that don't understand how this kind of works, when you do a convention in the States, you have your guarantee, okay, I'm going to fly. I'm going to go to New York. It's going to be a 5-hour flight, and I know this is the guarantee of X amount of dollars that I'll make for those 3 days, and I'm going to be on the floor from this time to this time, and you're like, cool, you figure it out. When you go overseas, it costs so much to bring you that they take such a giant chunk of your proceeds, essentially, aside from the tickets that they're selling. The split is so huge that you end up walking away with half of what you would end up making doing a show 2 or 3 hours from you. So I always love to do it if I'm going to make a vacation out of it. It's like, cool, I'm not making any money. I'm going to come for vacation and I'm going to spend whatever money I make there on shit that I'm going to do when I'm there. And then I'm going to come back and it'll be fine. But it gets me at least gets me there. So now that my kids are of age where they might be able to fly, I may have to break it up, and a little bit and stay somewhere for 3 or 4 days. I mean, anything. They haven't been on a flight longer than 3 hours, so I might want to kill them.
The beauty of Hawaii is that it is right in the middle.
Yes, that's right.
Right, right. I mean, and now you know what my it's actually not that bad. I didn't really think about it. That's probably why we've met there. My in-laws had a house there, and so I got married in Hawaii, and we used to go once every 2 months or so, and then we don't have a relationship with them anymore, so they don't have the house either. So it makes it a little bit more. And now that I live in Texas, it ends up being a 10-hour trip instead of hopping on a plane and going direct on United and just chilling at the house for free. So, but the kids do want to go back to Hawaii, so I think that will be something that at least I could make it. I'm cool with stopping in Hawaii for a week and then heading over to Australia. Sounds good to me.
Well, if you ever get down to Melbourne, you can have a bit of a reunion with a friend of ours, Jamie Blanks, who
Yes, I love Jamie. He came when they did the re-release, I guess, of Urban Legend. He came to LA a couple of years ago, and we got to catch up, and we've chatted on email and stuff as well. I didn't realize he was so young when he did Urban Legend and big studio movie, and being given all like that doesn't happen anymore. So I'm glad that I was able to be part of that. But I love Jamie. He's great.
He is responsible for a lot of teen jealousy because he appeared on, I think it was Hey Hey It's Saturday, which was a kind of a variety show, when he did that trailer for Scream and got Urban Legend, and we were just all of us of an age are going, he's just taken the only opportunity we ever would have had.
You
son of a bitch.
He's just done it.
Yes, totally. I'm so glad it was a good experience for him, though. That could have gone a different way. It could have gone the way Rob Zombie's went, which would have been really horrible and probably broken him, being so young and such a fan and so excited to be given that, to have had to deal with that would have been. I'm glad that he did a studio film that he really was respected and listened to and appreciated and had a really good time. They kept him wanting to stay in the business.
For sure. And it allowed him to come back here and make an amazing slasher film called Storm Warning. I don't know if you've seen Storm
I haven't
Warning.
seen that.
It's fantastic. So, put that
You
on
know
your
what
list.
I need to do? I need to call him and tell him that I am willing to come to Australia to work for nothing if he will just bring me to Australia to do a horror movie. And then I can just knock all of those bucket list things off.
I was going to say we did it. A friend of ours, Lee Gambon, who I'm not sure if you've ever had anything to do with. He was, unfortunately, he passed away not too long ago, but he was a big kind of connector of people. He's written books on biohorror and
Cujo and
all
things
sorts
like
of
that.
stuff, and Cujo. And
Yeah,
he's
his
a big
name
kind
sounds
of
really
Stephen King.
familiar to
He used
me.
to write for Fangoria. Yeah.
He used to
What's his
write
last
for
name?
Fangoria.
Lee. What's his last name?
Gambon.
Gambon.
Yeah. He was he's good friends with Dee Wallace, and he got her out here to do some stuff, and at the same time he got her. They were making a movie in Sydney, and he was like, oh well, you can come out here and do the conventions in Melbourne where he lives, and then you can go to Sydney and be in this movie, and then you can go up to Queensland for this other convention. He organised this whole massive tour for it to make
That's
it all.
the way to do it.
You
come that far,
Was that?
Yeah, that's right. If you're going to fly 14 hours, then
you're gonna do something.
Was that movie? Sorry, was that movie Red Christmas, Ben?
Yeah, Red Christmas. Yeah.
Fucking love this
There
story.
was
that
one-
was all.
there
That
was
was all Lee
one-
putting it all together.
There was one movie that shot in Australia. I think Kane Hodder did it. It took place on a farm.
Charlie's
Farm.
Charlie's Farm.
With Tara Reid.
Yes.
The company I work for, we released that film.
Yeah.
We released Charlie's
Interesting.
Farm, and we released your film, Among Friends.
Oh, who knew?
Yeah,
That's so crazy. So Charlie's Farm, I wanted to do that movie, and I read the script, and what happened was they didn't tell me which character. So I assumed reading it that I was going to be Tara's character. I don't know if you know, but Tara Reid's was my roommate years ago, and we on and off again friendship, and I was Tara's first friend when she moved to LA, and I just didn't want to. I wanted her role.
Yeah.
So when I had said I want to do this, and they were like, "Oh," and we started talking. I was like, "Whoa, wait. You want me for that role? That's not. I'm not right for the. It was the friend who was like more of like the cheerleadery. I'm like, wait, but that's more Tara. I'm the lead. This other character is way more my speed. How could you cast Tara as her and me in the other role? And I don't really want to work with Tara. So no, I don't want to do it. So I ended up, passing on it. But I really wanted to come out. And John Jarrett, I did a movie with John, called Shiver. I believe he's Aussie too, right?
Yeah,
love,
for sure.
love.
He's as Aussie as they come.
I just love. Yeah, I love him. Love him.
He's so Aussie, he's almost handicapped by it.
Yeah, maybe. Oh my God, that's funny. I love him. So that was, he's great. So I still, there's something maybe something will happen out of this.
For sure. Look, we won't hold you up too much longer. I've got 2 more questions for you.
Sure.
The first one is that you've been in so many movies that we love, and Ben and I probably reference on our show quite a lot. But the one pressing question for you is, do you have any amazing Steven Seagal stories?
Oh God. So yes, but not, but not when I was young, not when I was working with him. When I got older, that's so interesting. I do talk about it. I'm writing a book right now, so this will come up in my book, and I think I've referenced this on my podcast, so it's not like it's the first time, but I got a call. I think I was my late 20s, maybe early 30s. Got a call that they were auditioning girls for a new untitled Steven Seagal film, and that there was no script available, but there was a couple different female characters, and the producers and Steven really wanted to see the women in the room before they would decide which role you would be right to read for. So all I knew is that the character was a prostitute and heroin addict prostitute. So, wrong side of the tracks. Mm-hmm. So I went as the actor that I am and looked like shit and, makeup from the night before and dirty, greasy hair, and was ready to go. And I went to Sunset Gower, and there was a room full of non-actors, of very beautiful women, probably mostly models, and casting came out and said, okay, we're going to take 3 or 4 of you up at a time, and you're going to go into the room, and after the one girl comes out, you're going to go in, and you're going to just do it like this, and then they'll see you, and we would call you back to read for certain roles. And I thought, this is so weird. I've never in my whole career had anything happen like this. And I went in, and he was sitting there at the end of the room in a big chair with his German Shepherd and leash wrapped around his wrist, and the Shepherd was at his side, and then there were these 2 or 3 producers along the couch, and it was definitely did not feel like I was auditioning for a movie. It was the first time that I felt like, oh my God, this is like a casting couch situation. This is, what is happening here? And I felt super weirded out. And Steven said, I'm Steven, and nice to meet you. And kind of had a moment. And I said, I actually know you. I was in a movie with you when I was a kid called Marked for Death, where I played your niece. And his whole demeanor changed, and he was like, oh my God, yeah. Wow, you're not the same little girl that I held in my arms all those years ago. Now are you? And I was like, nope, no, I'm not. Not that little girl. And he kind of looked over at the producers, and they had this moment of like, yeah, I don't want to, she's not one of those girls. We're not going to be bringing her back to read lines with me in my hotel kind of vibe. She's not one to do that with. So I'm not sure there was actually a movie being cast. It might have been like a dating sort of thing. Is
Like
what
that
it felt
movie
like to
Audition.
me. It was really, really, really weird, and I'd never had that experience before. Needless to say, I didn't get a call back. So, because I don't think I would have been, the girl to go run lines with him back in his room or whatever they were doing. But that was the only time that I really have, he was fine on set, and I went to his trailer and he showed me all his like throwing stars and the swords that he had on his wall and like all kinds of weird, quirky things. And he's just kind of crazy, I think. He's just a little bit, he's just a little bit crazy. Again, he was totally respectful of me, and I didn't have any issue with him, and so that was kind of my experience. Was this strange? I mean, he's been known about town. I'm sure you've heard too. Kind of crazy stories about with stunt guys and him sort of testing waters of throwing actual punches and like kind of doing things just to kind of see what he can get away with, and that's crazy. So,
That seems to be a lot. That's the Van Damme story as well. The one where he
oh
would
God.
he would kick a stuntman in the face and go, no, it was a controlled kick.
Oh my God,
face.
what is wrong with people?
Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is
No.
like he kicked him in the chest and he's like, oh, it was a control kick.
No, 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 no. You don't do that. But there's a lot of there are a lot of those actors of that generation that have a little bit of screw loose. Anyone that wants to get in this business, like you're signing up for the circus, I mean, you really are just a traveling circus. So, and I think a lot of men that get involved in the business, any man that is like vain enough to want to be on camera is always a little bit odd to me. Actors are, it's always the actors that like want another take or have a good side, or, you're always like, dude, I haven't been in makeup as long as you have, and you're a dude. So it's interesting. And then women actresses are also fucked up, and they come in and, they're the ones that like are numb in real life, and then they use the stage to be able to feel stuff or have like tortured childhoods, or, it's all crazy, but that's what filmmaking is, right?
I did have this. I had a story. I won't mention names, but I did have a chat to a filmmaker who said in his first film he had an actor who was his. It was also this actor's first film, and he'd come over from the stage, and it was this big dramatic scene in the film, and it was. He was supposed to react in like pain, or he's supposed to. I don't know what his reaction was supposed to be, but he's like, "I'm not feeling it." So what I want you to do is get a stick, put a thumbtack at the end of it, and when I'm supposed to, display the emotion, you jab me with the stick. That was his.
No. Oh my God, really?
This guy has gone on. He's had a huge career. Like he has had he's like is rarely the lead, but he's like a pretty big kind of supporting actor, been in some big movies.
So Ben Kingsley,
And every time I
everyone.
see him, I just think, is there someone off camera poking you with a stick right now?
No.
Act monkey.
I mean, I have to say there is something to be said for like being the final girl or the woman that's getting handled. John Jarrett, great example. I don't know if you saw Shiver, but it's one of my, for me, I think it's one of my best performances. And I wanted to work with him so badly, so I was so happy that he was on board. But I get kidnapped and held hostage in this like makeshift shack home. He's a serial killer, and he has to rape me, or attempt to have sex with me, and I'm tied up and bound, and the character is violent with me because he can't get an erection to do what he wants to do to me. And it was a very, very intense emotional scene, and he's got daughters, and it was really hard for him to go there with me. Those are the roles that we live for as actors.
Yeah.
But once you get there, it's really hard to do it. And for me, I wanted him to grab at me and pull at my clothes, and everyone's always afraid to like I can see, I watch movies and you watch movies and you're like, he's not really, like, I want them to be a little more rough, a little more physical, a little more, I don't want to see the hand lightly on the throat and I'm pretending to be strangled. Give me a little bit of pressure so I can actually feel what it feels like, something to get me there. But it's hard to convince another actor to, because the one time they do go there, you're like, whoa, 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 that was too much, and then you're like, and it's scary. But you need a little something. But I've never had anybody ask me to cope with them.
Has that changed now that they have intimacy coordinators and stuff, so you actually have those discussions before you go into those scenes where you say,
So I've yet to be on set with. I haven't been on set with an intimacy coordinator yet, but I did do a movie with Scout directed recently, actually, that should be out probably by the end of the year, called oh my God, she's gonna kill me that I'm blanking on the name. She talks about it all the time. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart right now. Anyway, where
Bring the Law?
I have yes,
Flesh?
Bringing the Law. Jesus Christ. It was called Bringing the Law, then Bring the Law. It's BTL. She's mentioned BTL so much that I forgot what the actual title of the movie is. So when we did BTL, I have this scene where we're starting to kiss and then we roll back onto the bed. And everybody, and I have no, and then the next scene we were doing, I'm in the bed, but I'm covered with a sheet. I'm like, I don't. For me, I feel like it makes it more uncomfortable to have an intimacy coordinator because it makes it a bigger deal than it has to be. I don't need to be. I don't need everybody to leave the room and be covered up and like, no, I don't need you gawking at me, but like, I don't make it uncomfortable for everybody. So I think having that on set almost is a hindrance. But then Scout had said, she's like, well, but what if other people are uncomfortable?
Yeah.
It's not only for you, it's for the crew as well to feel like it's safe. So I've only really done like love scenes or sex scenes with people that were really cool and easy to work with, and I felt safe. So I haven't had that experience. I have many girlfriends who have had other experiences where, and actually one of the actresses from Rob Zombie's Halloween is an intimacy coordinator now in real life, who played Michael's sister who gets killed at the very beginning, Hannah Hall. She's an intimacy coordinator, she's like, it's great. I just tell people like, you can do this, you can't do that. Because most directors are men, and most directors are scared to tell to tell you what to do in those scenes. They're just kind of like, you guys just sort of do your thing, and I'm gonna be like over here hiding in the corner because I'm uncomfortable and embarrassed, and it's weird.
I was gonna say, chances are they don't know.
They have no idea.
You're just figuring it out when you're like, in
They
the
have no
moment, you're
idea.
like, well, I know what I do.
Yeah, exactly. So
There's
they're
never
like,
a woman involved.
No. That's funny. I mean, Rob Zombie, and like in that scene, it was, you definitely want to close set, and mostly it's because there definitely can be, I mean, there have been times where I've had those scenes and suddenly the studio wants to show up. I won't name names, but it might have been someone who's in jail right now for doing stuff like this, happens to show up on a day where there's something going on that they really want to see. And thank goodness you have directors that say absolutely not, get the fuck out. That's not happening here, which is kind of what has happened. But I remember my boyfriend at the time during that love scene in Rob Zombie's. It was the first time only time I've ever been topless in a movie. And my boyfriend at the time said, and I was 30, and the guy I was working with was 18. So he was freaked out. And I thought he was super cute, and I was like, oh, I could totally, like, this guy's gonna not know what to fucking do with himself, which is a great position to be in. And it's very comfortable for me to be in that position. But my boyfriend was like, dude, you need to go for it. Like, I want you. Like, don't hold back with her. Like, go for it, I was like, this is so weird. You can't tell this kid. Like, my, 38-year-old boyfriend's, like, telling this 18-year-old to, like, really get excited about his girlfriend, like, grinding on him. So, but Rob definitely hit in the corner and was like, you guys just, whatever you're comfortable with, and usually it's, thank goodness I'm fairly open, so I can say, you can do this, do that, do this, or that, let's not go there. But I haven't been with an actor that's taken it too far. Thank God. Knock on wood.
I remember Samuel L. Jackson on a talk show once, said that when he does the love scene, he goes, first you have to say, look, I'm sorry for anything that happens, and I'm sorry for anything that doesn't happen. Yeah,
exactly. That's usually the go-to. Like, I'm sorry if I get excited, and I'm sorry if I don't get excited. It's not you. And I'm like, it's all good. And let me tell you something. Every single time they get excited, no matter what, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If kissing, no. But if there's any other physical, like, touch or actual contact within the region of even like sitting on a lap, oh yeah. I did a series with Kevin Dillon for CBS, and it was a family show called That's Life. It was a show on years ago with Paul Sorvino and Ellen Burstyn and Debbie Mazar, and I was playing his wife, and CBS had to say to him and me, you guys cannot, like, Kevin, you cannot kiss her like that on camera, because it looks like you're eating her face. Like, it is so inappropriate and he would, we had so many love scenes, and it was TV, but you're still doing it. And we'd be done with the scene, and he would be like, do not get up. If you do, can you just walk in front of me out to the car, out to the train? I'd be like, yes, stupid. You're so stupid. What's the matter with you? Like, come on, Kevin, knock it off.
I'll be in my trailer for 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I just need like a minute. Thank God I'm a girl. I don't have that. Because nothing ever stays. These pouches and all these things. Like, you're sweating and it comes off, and you're like, this is more work than just cover me, and whatever. So, did you think our interview about Natty Knox was going to quite go this direction?
I was about to say,
right?
I had no idea we'd be going in this direction, but look, we won't hold you up.
I thought maybe we'd talk about Last Boy Scout a bit, but that's
oh yes.
I feel like we could talk for hours, but look, we'll let you run. Thank you so much for making time for us. This has been an absolute blast.
Of course. Thanks for having me. And everybody out there listening, I did not get to promote Natty Knox because it was during the freaking strike. So unfortunately, I could do no promotion for this movie that I was so proud of, and really am excited to have everybody see it. And thank you for distributing us to that side of the world. And I hope everybody enjoys the reunion and getting to see. I mean, God, you've got Robert Englund and myself and Bill Moseley in it. You kind of can't go wrong with that dynamic.
The key sell in that is that is at some point in the film, not giving anything away, you're dressed up as a nurse and you destroy Bill Moseley's junk. Have
you had Bill on the show?
No, would love to.
Oh,
No.
you should have him on. He's so quirky and lovely, and he's just great, and he's so funny. And I'll end it with this. We have the I think it was the scene where I think I'm running up the stairs after the fire, the stuff that goes on in the basement, and I scream when I run into somebody. I remember Dwight saying, like, we have to sell that. Like, there needs to be something bigger here in the moment where we meet each other for the first time, the kids and myself and all that. And I was like, because it wasn't in the script. And I was like, I got it. I was like, I know it's a good time for like a jump scare. So I'm just going to scream right when I hit them and just see what happens. I'm not going to tell anybody. And Bill was there, and he heard it, and we cut, and he came up and he was like, that is the most amazing scream that I have ever heard in my life. And I was like, shut up. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You worked with everybody. Like, you've heard how many thousands of people have you heard scream in your career? And he's like, not like that. Not like that. And if you ever have him on the show, or you ever hear him talk about Natty Knox or me, which we are friends, he will say that there is no one better at that than me, which is, for me, it was like, as a big compliment. When Ellen Burstyn told me when I did That's Life, and she said, I watched the show I watched your episode last night, and you did a really good job. My son and I watched it, and you were fantastic. And I thought, oh my God, it doesn't get any better than someone like Ellen Burstyn telling you that you are a fantastic actress, and doesn't give out compliments easily. So for Bill Moseley to tell me that I have the best scream he's ever heard, go watch Natty Knox.
1998. Australian Prime Minister John Howard refuses a meet and greet with the Spice Girls. When asked why at the National Press Club, Howard replied, "Personally speaking, I'm more of a Bardot fan myself."
All right, 1998, Ben.
This is a good year. Like the last couple of years, while they have been strong, have been good. It did take a bit of a dip.
But I mean, this is also like I've been saying for weeks now. We're getting close to the edge.
To the edge,
where it's going to drop off. But these are all.
This year is a banger.
And we're also in that era where you and I were actively at the cinemas regularly. So a lot of these, we've seen on the big screen. So many favourites. Let me do the box office top 10.
Okay.
We'll go from number 10 downwards. We've got Lethal Weapon 4 at number 10. Amazing. Saw that at the cinemas. Man, it makes me feel really old. Shakespeare in Love.
Funnily enough, that's the one where Mel Gibson is too old for this shit.
Yeah, that's right. And to think they're going for part 5, they're really, really too old for this shit. Danny Glover was only turning 39, I think, in that first movie. Jesus Christ.
He wants to retire. You're like, oh, is that allowed?
In today's world, there's another 30 years to go.
We're older than Danny Glover
we can retire? What?
In Lethal Weapon.
So, number 9 was Shakespeare in Love, one of the most overrated films of all time. Number 8 was Dr. Dolittle. I'll take that over Shakespeare in Love. Number 7 was Mulan. Number 6 was Deep Impact. Number 5, A Bug's Life, which I think is probably the best Pixar film up until a certain point. I think that was...
Where did you stand on Bug's Life versus Ants?
Oh, Bug's Life all the way.
Okay.
Then we had number 4, There's Something About Mary, which fucking bit of a game changer comedy, that one.
Yep.
Number 3, Godzilla. Number 2, Saving Private Ryan. And number 1, Armageddon.
It's funny that in that list, the forgotten film is Godzilla. That's the one that no one talks about. That
and yet
Godzilla.
it's the legacy that's still going.
Yeah.
But that film itself,
completely forgotten.
Which Roland Emmerich tried to make it Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
He turned Godzilla into like a T-Rex. That's so weird.
And that's what's interesting about this decade as well with those is that because you know how we have talked about it on the show where you would have two films that are pretty similar that would come out at a similar time, at around the same time.
Yeah.
And this was the first big one that I remember noticing, where Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Yes.
Both of them are on this list.
They are both. My favourite is Deep Impact.
Yeah, I take Deep Impact. I mean, I've been thinking in the last 6 months, I've been thinking I really need to rewatch Armageddon because maybe I was a bit harsh on it.
Just the audio commentary.
Yeah, well, I do definitely want to hear what Ben Affleck has to say.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always been Deep Impact.
Alrighty. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Let's go through some of the horror films and then we'll cruise through some others. So we had Blade that year, Bride of Chucky, Carnival of Souls, Children of the Corn 5, Curse of the Puppet Master, The Faculty, Deep Rising, The Dentist 2, Halloween H2O, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Frankenstein Reborn, Phantasm 4, Phantom of the Opera, the Dario Argento movie, which I was fascinated with at the time. It's the one with Asia Argento's in it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And Julian Sands plays the Phantom, and they thought he was too good looking, so they didn't give him a mask. So he's a Phantom without a mask. It's so weird.
Jeez, was 1998 the last time anyone thought Julian Sands was too good looking?
I said that one. The Prophecy 2, Razor Blade Smile, Strangeland. Sometimes They Come Back for More, Shadow Builder, Urban Legend 2, I think it was. Or was that number 1?
Yeah, right. This also, funnily enough, marks the year that I started working at the video store. So that's why all these titles are surprising. I'm like, surely these were earlier, but no, that's when I would have started.
Yeah. It was Urban Legend 1.
Yeah.
Subspecies. So Species 2, Subspecies 4, and that's about it for the horror films. And then elsewhere, far out. Too many to name.
There's too many. It's such a big year, which... I'm looking at your list now, and I've realised that I just didn't even get up to
half of them.
Some of those films.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go randomly at some titles here and just say stuff like Basketball, The Negotiator, Night at the Roxbury, What Dreams May Come, Wild Things, Lost in Space, Mercury Rising, City of Angels, The Big Hit, Sliding Doors, Half-Baked, Apt Pupil, Spice World, Blues Brothers 2000, Nil by Mouth. There's just so many.
I love that.
movies.
I love that Spice World and Blues Brothers 2000 came out in the same year. Two train wrecks.
I just love that I included them in that list. Like, there's so many great movies in there. Meet Joe Black, Enemy of the State, Waking Ned Divine, Truman Show. Can't Hardly Wait.
Clay Pigeons is an underrated gem in that lot.
Is it what? X-Files, the movie, Out of Sight, Small Soldiers. Huge list.
Huge list.
Australian-wise, we had Babe Pig in the City. Amazing film. Love Baby Pig in the City.
One of Luke Buckmaster's favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's a wonderful film. Amy, The Boys, Crackers, Dead Letter Office, Dags, Head On, In the Winter Dark. That's one of my favourite all-time Australian films, as is The Interview. Then you got Praise, Radiance, and Occasional Coarse Language.
Yeah, right.
Aussie cinema's starting to really pop. It was sort of,
It really got into that grunge cinema. I feel like it was sparked off by Love and Other Catastrophes.
I reckon maybe Reality Bites sort of set the tone internationally.
Yeah. And we definitely took the ball and ran with
Gen
it.
X kind of thing.
It was, I kind of feel like it was the first
You're right, though, grunge.
kind of grunge youth film since like Dogs in Space.
Yeah.
Like that was the last time Australia had
That
done that
generation's
kind of
version
film.
of it, yeah. For sure. So, look, as I said, way too many there to name. It's such a great year, to be honest with you. But let's guess what each other's favourites are. Do you want to have a stab first, or do you want me to guess yours?
Look, I'll have a go first.
Okay. Turn my screen.
No, I don't want to look at your thing.
Oh,
I want to look
yeah,
at
go
the
for
other,
it. Go for it.
Fucking hell. Like, look at these. I mean, I think Sphere.
For me?
Yep.
No, not at all.
No?
No, not a fan.
I think Spanish Prisoner.
No, but that's a good one.
City of Angels.
No, it's a pretty good one too. But I'm a big fan of the original.
Uh,
I mean, I've got the advantage here because I've been through this list. I've had a good look at it.
I'm just looking at the list.
Ben hasn't prepped at all for this part of the show, and so you're really just glancing
I'm
at what
looking at
they
it just going, what do
now.
I think that... I mean, Truman Show?
No.
No?
Yeah, it probably won't surprise you when you hear what they are.
Yeah, it's just what am I seeing and what am I not seeing on the
Yeah,
on
that's
the
true.
list.
That's true.
Jeez, I know you liked Apt Pupil.
That's one of them. I love it.
Oh boy,
I love this. This is fun. Should I just tell you?
Yeah, look, yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to show you what I've guessed for you, but I've got Apt Pupil.
Yeah.
I've got Dirty Work.
Right.
I've got Happiness, the Todd Solondz film.
Right.
And, wait for it, Wrongfully Accused. The Leslie Nielsen Pat Proft movie.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
That is just infinitely quotable. So good.
Speaking of infinitely quotable, I think all my films, and there's a bunch there that I was like, I didn't even see those on the list. So I should have included them in mine, but I haven't. But I'm like, I mean, I think mine are pretty obvious.
So you want me to guess yours?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to guess Dirty Work.
No.
No. What?
No.
Oh, I'm disappointed in myself. All right. Well, then I'm going to go for the obvious and say Rushmore.
Yes.
Okay.
But and funny, I just added that then because I didn't realize it was.
What about Dead Man on Campus?
No. Dude, you stood up my junk.
Okay, well, I've only got one more guess.
Okay.
So maybe then I'll just go through the list and have a little secondary guess. But Vampires. John Carpenter's Vampires. No. Okay. Is that a pretty good collection of guesses, considering that you haven't had a chance to think it through?
Yeah. Look, I do like all of those films, but I was never the fan of, because I think in '98, I wasn't that up on John Carpenter stuff.
Okay.
Funnily enough. I'd seen a couple, but...
All right.
And I wasn't a huge fan of James Woods at the time, but Vampires kind of changed my opinion on a lot of things.
Is Bullworth on your list?
No, it's not.
Okay. Far out. Pleasantville.
No.
Orgasmo.
No.
No. Oh my God, what? Oh, Meet Joe Black.
No. No, certainly not.
Big Lebowski.
Yes.
Okay. Whew.
You got one of them.
I've listed about 20. No. Clay Pigeons.
No.
Okay.
No, I do like
all right,
that
just
film.
tell me. Snake Eyes.
So,
The Avengers.
A Twilight film with Paul Newman.
Yeah, okay.
Which I
never would have guessed that. I know you would like it. I never would have put it on the top of your list.
Love that film. Fear and Loathing Las Vegas.
Yeah, okay.
I had in there, and Big Lebowski and Rushmore were the two.
You just
the big
see,
ones.
I never would have guessed Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas because you don't like hot, sweaty people in films.
I don't, but that move, funnily enough, like I just think, like in terms of endlessly quotable films,
yeah,
like that one was just such a big deal. Like I remember, like leaving the cinema, like writing on napkins in restaurants like Backdoor Beauty, and then what was that? That few people understand the heart of a highway cop, Don't, if you want flags you over, don't pull over. That arises ire in the cup heart. Make the bastard chase you. He will follow.
So
it's so good. And, I didn't tell him about the bats. He'd find out about them soon enough.
I love the way his mind works. What do you think of Where the Buffalo Roam? Which is the other Hunter S. Thompson
one. The funny thing about that film is, so 98, I would have been working at the video store, and I would have been just about to work at Borders.
Mm-hmm.
And Borders was kind of the first place outside of those really expensive import places. The first place I'd worked where I could order in DVDs from overseas, and I ordered Where the Buffalo Roam. I was so excited to see it, but like every time I've ever bought a DVD, I just didn't watch it.
Yep.
I had it. I've had it there. I've had it in several different iterations.
Still haven't
seen it. So
it's pretty great. Given how much you love Fear and Loathing, I'm really keen to hear what you think of it.
Yeah, I do. Look,
they are similar. Peter Boyle's in it too. It's fantastic.
I mean, look, Deep Rising would have been up there. Dirty Work would have been. Out of Sight.
Yeah, Out of Sight.
Small Soldiers. I fucking love Small Soldiers.
Wild Things.
I kind of just got stuck at one point, if you know what I mean. Never really went
wound the tape
down. I mean, look, Dark City at the time, in 1998, I loved Dark City, but I don't remember anything about it now.
And of everything on that list, I would now, in retrospect, probably put The Wedding Singer up there because it's just infinitely quotable. I know it back to front.
I find it so odd that
they were
one of the top grossing films in the US that year that's not on the international list is Waterboy.
Two Adam Sandler movies.
And I just never thought Waterboy was that big of a deal. I enjoyed it, but it's no...
it wasn't here.
It was no Happy Gilmore or Little Nicky, which now considered is probably much bigger than Little Nicky.
If you think about it, in Australia, if you backtrack, right, so he kind of blew up with Happy Gilmore, right? But he hadn't become like a branded name here until Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
So Waterboy kind of was just like, another silly Adam Sandler movie until
then.
But interesting.
You want to play the foosball? I bet he's got a big Abdullah oblongata.
I reckon I'm also probably the only person on the planet that's going to say U.S. Marshals rates highly in there.
Yeah. I went to see The Big Lebowski, and then a week later I went to Village Cinemas in the city, back when they were still in Burke Street. I went to see U.S. Marshals.
Village or Hoyts?
No, this was Village.
Right.
Hoyts were further up.
Yes,
Village was down the bottom.
Yes.
Went to see U.S. Marshals.
Yep.
Went into the bar and dragged one of the poor box office people over there to serve me. And I asked for a White Russian. They didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
You've told that on the show before.
Yeah.
That's a drinking game in and of itself.
It's the only good thing I can say about U.S. Marshals. Is that story. And also, Rounders.
Yeah.
Even now that I've heard Matt Damon talk about John Malkovich acknowledging that he's not a great actor because of his Russian accent and stuff in Rounders.
Yeah.
I still really rate the film.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It's, it's fantastic. It was the first, I think that Rounders kind of sparked, I'm sure that Poker Scene was big in America, but it hadn't really reached its, international celebrities playing it, all that sort of stuff until Rounders.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, then that's responsible for that opening scene in Ocean's 11, where they're, teaching Pacey from Dawson's Creek to play poker.
Honourable mention for Can't Hardly Wait as well.
Oh, what a great film.
Holds up well.
Welcome to Bonehead Weekly
Fun Size.
This week we're doing 1998.
Yes, we are.
That's the year that what did I do in 1998? It's blur. Go ahead.
I met this asshole.
Was it 90? Yeah, it wasn't in 98.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than us doing copious amounts of cocaine in 1998, we also were going to the movies, and the movies were just plentiful. And the one I'm going to pick was the best movie ever made of 1998. Stephen Sommers' classic Deep Rising. James called it. I love it. I know this movie is a turd. When anyone asks me about my favorite movie, I was like, I can't tell you that. It's so hard. It's a question. Blah, 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 blah. But if you ask me my guilty pleasure, I'm going to tell you what it is. I bought the special edition a while back, and Chad goes, "Really? What the fuck did that? Why the fuck did that need a special edition?"
Yeah.
He's right.
Special edition.
Director commentary by Steven Sommers, the genius. Now, the movie is about a ship.
It's about 90
This
minutes.
is what a ship looks like. The tentacles come out and rah, rah.
Oh my
That's
God.
like the juices out of them. But you know what? I love that movie. I was watching it again a while back. I could watch it almost on repeat. It works for me. One of you two go.
James, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dark City.
That's a good one. I saw it in the theater. Me and you.
Yeah, Dark
Not
City.
together.
Yeah, well, I didn't know you yet. It would have been weird if you sat down next to me and started talking to me. No, Dark City is just, I love the movie. I love the fact that it has Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror Picture Show as one of the aliens. Dark City is moody. It's Rufus Sewell is so good in it as a hero, and he doesn't play a hero often. If you've never seen Dark City, somebody said it's a very quote unquote Americanized City of Lost Children vibe, and I'm like, not exactly, but it's fair enough.
No. I think it's totally different.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, and I agree. That's what.
Yeah.
But somebody made that comment, and I'm like, sure, why not?
No.
If you've never seen Dark City, though, check it out. It's really a lot of fun.
All right, you're both wrong because the best movie from
Myth. Yes.
So the best movie from 1998 is still today. It's pretty much considered a cult classic, and I'm so excited because we're getting a new version this year. Got to be Dirty Work. Norm Macdonald.
Do we need a new version of Dirty Work?
Yes, we need the additional 8 minutes.
If they
because I
found
want to
any
see
of
it.
that extra Don Rickles footage, I want to see it.
I need to go back and watch Dirty Work. It's one of those where I was like, this is okay. I wonder if I'd find it funnier now.
Motherfucker is sitting here talking about he loves a movie about giant ocean leeches, and Dirty Work is a classic.
You have a lot of these from Dirty Work all the time, and nobody's seen Dirty Work, so I get away with it. I gotta go.
I seen him.
I gotta go lift weights.
Oh,
stupid throwaway line.
Yes, Dirty Work is not well written. The acting is very choppy, but god damn it, it is funny beyond all comprehension.
Beyond all comprehension, this movie is funny.
Oh, why don't you talk to me about Deep Rising?
Chevy Chase.
Chevy
Chase actually has some of the best.
You know, the best part about this is we're going extremely long, and Joe's going to cut all this stuff out.
But the Chevy Chase in that deserves a lot of credit, though, because I just love his throwaway lines are some of the best throwaway. I don't understand that, the mafia breaks your legs, but then they still want you to pay the money. That's just a great.
And this has been Bonehead Weekly Funsies.
Oh, no. Let's go on for about 10, 12 more minutes.
I'm really enjoying the Boneheads in this all in same camera environment. It's great. That's how their show started.
Yeah.
Not them all sitting on each other's laps, but in Joe's basement on a sofa doing the show live to camera. Now they're over Zoom because they live in sporadically.
I wish we had a Patreon so that we could include extra content and we could show the porn that happens after the that you cut out because YouTube won't allow us to play it.
A little known secret is we do have a Patreon. I just haven't activated
it.
And it just makes me wonder, would anybody? Would anybody? If we offered you more, would you? That's the question. I guess it's what is the more?
I reckon those if we did unboxing videos on the Patreon.
There's plenty we could do because you and I can always sit down and record stuff extra. In fact, we used to. We gave it out for free.
We could do the stuff we used to do for the Movieland podcast. We could do on the Patreon.
Yeah, well, hey, absolutely. Let us know, but thank you to the Boneheads as well. How's that, Chad? Dirty Work.
Yeah. It's a banger of a film.
Yes.
See, I didn't see it in 90. I watched it on video.
Yeah.
I didn't see it
I
theatrically.
think VHS, because we didn't get it theatrically.
Yeah.
I think it went straight to
Funnily enough,
tape.
and I hope my bosses aren't listening, I don't know if I've told you the story, but my friend Anthony was working at the video store when that came out, and he called me up and said, Dirty Work's in, come down. And so I went to the video store. He locked the door and put back in 2 minutes, and I just sat in front of the counter. He sat behind the counter, and we just watched Dirty Work without letting any customers come into the shop.
Amazing. That is awesome. That was a preview tape that I first saw it on. So, but also I had that
Not for sale.
But that
Was it
thing
not
of
for resale?
watching it before anyone else.
Yeah.
I guess that's the equivalent of our screeners that we go to now.
Yeah,
screenings,
that's right.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Boneheads. Bonehead Weekly. Check them out. They're their own podcast, believe it or not. Should say that. All right, movie battle, Ben.
Fight.
All right, we've got Psycho Cop 2 versus Maniac Cop 2. This was your choosing. Why?
Well, because they're both.
It's obvious.
Yeah, because they're both Cop 2 movies. At one point, I was talking to Matt O'Neill about putting out a zine.
Mm-hmm. Matt O'Neill being graphic designer of the show.
And he designed all the stuff. He's a stand-up comedian.
Does a lot of poster work as well. Yep.
And we were going to do a zine, and I just wanted to make it on cop films, but not like police procedurals, like Maniac Cop, Gladiator Cop, Lunar Cop, Scanner Cop,
Yep.
Karate Cop.
Yep.
Like there's all of these ones, and of course, a big part of that would have been Maniac Cop and Psycho Cop. So, and the weird thing is, I'm glad that we did two, because I think the two of both these franchises are better than the originals.
Yes.
Psycho Cop, the first one, is quite boring.
Well, Psycho Cop, the first one, is terrible. Yeah. It is a really bad... Feels like it's just shot on video. It feels like... You remember those movies like Microwave Massacre and all those cheapo sort of things? Video nasties. It felt like a really bad amateur
one
film.
of those.
But then number 2 was directed by Adam Rifkin.
Yeah.
Right? Who he's done a lot of stuff, but he sort of would jump into something like that and have the balls to sort of make something of it.
And it's like it's a gleefully horrific, over the top kind of slaughterfest.
Yeah.
Of a film. It's great. The funny thing about Maniac Cop 2, I guess
I can really smell that burp, by the way. Fuck.
That's the Q Cola.
With a bit of meat. We
had a lot of meat before the show. We downed a lot of meat and a lot of cola. The issue I had with Maniac Cop the first time I saw it, and I hope this isn't a spoiler.
First one?
The second one.
Okay.
The second one is because the characters from the first one kind of die in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. That was at, 40 years old, no spoilers. Yeah. That was at Bruce Campbell's insistence.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So he said to him, you either give me this much money or you kill me. Like,
we'll kill you.
We'll kill you.
I mean, look, it's because this movie was written by Larry Cohen.
Mm-hmm.
Maniac Cop was written by Larry Cohen and directed by
William Lustig.
William Lustig, who now runs Blue Underground.
Does he?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He's the guy. He ran Anchor Bay.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and so a lot of the Anchor Bay stuff is now translated over to Blue Underground.
Gotcha.
Well,
he is the director of Maniac, the original Maniac, and
yeah. I'm not sure if this was his first film or not, but I remember like Larry Cohen talking about, this kid coming up to him going, I've got this great idea for a thing. If you want to write, he's like, and Larry Cohen was like, well, sure, if you can come up with the money to pay me, I'll do it. Yeah,
that's right.
Of course he did it.
Could have been Pretty Woman for all he cared.
Yeah. And it had, like, Maniac Cop, all props to Maniac Cop. It does have one of the greatest taglines of movie history, which is you have the right to remain silent forever.
I actually think it's one of the unsung slasher franchises in general. Like, it's a really banger series. I think all three are good. Number 1 and 2. Well, number 2 is the best. Number 1's the second best. Number 3, still solid.
And we actually had Lorraine Landon as a guest at Monster Fest 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And one thing she did say about, because hopefully I'm getting this right, Maniac Cop 2 is Robert Darby, right?
Yes.
Number 1 is what's his name from The Fog and Night of the Creeps?
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins.
Yep.
Tom Atkins.
Yep.
But she said that yes, Robert Darby was a real kind of creepy guy who was really into feet, and he was constantly trying to get Lorraine Landon into his trailer to like try on shoes and like, lift up with their feet. It was really weird.
Oh man, I always was confused as a kid that I thought Maniac Cop was connected to Maniac because it was the same director.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you had Scanner Cop, and that was kind of a spin-off from Scanners.
It was in the same universe, yeah.
So that kind of confused me with this one.
It's quite possible that it does exist in the same universe.
I don't think it does. I mean, the first film has that tone, that aesthetic. It's a real grungy kind of...
like New York story kind of thing.
Yeah, like they all look like pornos back in the day, even if they were slashers. Number 2 kind of has that, but it's a bit more...
It's elevated.
Yeah, that's right.
It's got a slightly bigger budget.
Yeah.
And the action is bigger. There's more of Robert Zadar's face.
Yes.
I think in the second
From
one.
the
'cause it's-
get-go.
Yeah, because it's kind of revealed at the end of the first
Yeah,
one.
he's just a figure in the shadows in the first one.
Yeah.
Great concept. Hands down, Maniac Cop 2 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I think Psycho Cop is great. It's a lot of fun, but Maniac Cop 2 is a better film.
And I think in most territories, or at least maybe on re-release, Psycho Cop 2 was changed to Return of Psycho Cop.
Yeah,
Or
right.
Psycho Cop The Return or something
Return,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, which all the posters pretty much have that on
The
them now.
returning, the quickening.
Yeah, and I think
Psycho
that was...
Cop 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Because I think it had a new life. Once it went to theatrical, it then died, went nowhere. And I think when they hit home end, it was substantially later, like maybe 10 years later or something. And that's where they rebranded.
You can now get, I think you can get Maniac Cop 2 on 4K through Blue Underground, I think.
Is there a box set trilogy?
No. Because funnily enough, you can get on 4K, you can get 2 and 3. I don't think you can get 1.
You listening?
And for a while, Bounty had the rights. Monster Pictures, we released Maniac Cop here. Bounty, I think, may still have the rights. But Psycho Cop has come out on Blu-ray thanks to Vinegar Syndrome.
Yep. I just have no patience for Psycho Cop. I can't go back and watch it. Like, it's just too dumb for me.
Yeah.
Number 2, I can tolerate, but yeah.
Yeah. Maniac Cop 2.
I guess that just leaves us with recommendations, Ben.
Yeah.
Choo choo choo. Rapid fire recommendations, that is. I mean, the sound effect has nothing to do with the segment, does it?
Not at all.
None. I should stop doing it.
I just like it.
Yeah. I only do it for you.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I'm going to go first.
All right.
A movie that I have no idea why I ignored this. When this got released, I think in 2014, I sort of fobbed it off. I thought it was a foreign film to begin with, which I mustn't have been in the mood for. It's not that I hate foreign films.
Just sometimes you don't want to read subtitles.
Yeah, and turns out it's an English film just set in France. So
Yeah.
it's all in English. And it's just the cover and the premise. I thought it was a found footage horror film like The Tunnel, another version of those. I was completely wrong. It is a found footage film, but it's an Indiana Jones style found footage film. It's a treasure hunt movie, and I had no idea. Still has the horror component to it, but it's essentially about a female archaeologist and her friend who, following a treasure map, end up in the catacombs of France.
Goonies style?
Almost. Almost. There's a lot of Goonies in it, I can tell you. But they follow this treasure map into the catacombs. They hire a couple of urban explorers to navigate their way through the tunnels. And when they get down there, the thing is with the catacombs in Paris is they're real. There's tens of thousands of bodies or bones and skeletons down there. That's where the French used to bury all of their people.
All the day, yeah.
And it exists there, and you can still do sort of tourism, sort of tours of it.
Oh yeah, I've been. Funnily enough, I've been to Paris twice. And I have not gone down.
It'd be good to do, but apparently this production got permission to go further beyond the tourism areas into the cordoned off areas, and it's. I wonder if they did this legally. Like, is it legit? Because they climb over bones and things, and I'm wondering maybe they shot some of that on a soundstage and incorporated, or if it was really bones, then
You feel like it's John Landis on the Twilight Zone movie. He just waited till the guys went home and then did whatever they wanted.
Act now, ask permission later, something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a fantastic film full of booby traps, and like in movies where you pull the big boulder out of the wall and it opens the door over there, that kind of stuff. It's full of that. Very exciting
It's like Uncharted, the game.
for children of the 80s. It's really good throwback kind of thing. And as I said, there's still horror around every turn, and it's just a really good combination of both. And I was just so thrilled to watch this and discover that it is essentially a treasure hunt movie. What a concept. A found footage treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt movie. Yeah.
So, as above, so below. Did I even say that to begin with?
I don't know.
I will have put the poster on the screen, but if you're listening to this, that's what it is.
That's what you're talking about.
As above, so below. It's fantastic.
Well, I look as I'm wont to do.
Yeah.
I went back to 1998, and I chose a film that I think a friend of mine may have shown me a couple of like you got to check this out. Check out this bit, and showed me a couple of clips of the film, and I've been dining out on those clips for like 20 years.
Is there titties?
No titties. No. Oh no titties in this one.
Usually that's why you dine out.
That's what I'm dining out on. But I've never actually seen it. So every time someone would bring it up in conversation, I'd just repeat the lines of the two clips that I'd seen, and that's enough to get me through.
Oh, so you fate Having
I
seen
faked
it.
having seen it. Yeah. I never admitted it that I had never actually seen it.
There's all these people thinking back to conversations they've had with you. Like,
Yeah,
that's son of a
I'm
bitch.
completely full of shit. This is Buffalo 66, directed by Vincent and starring Vincent Gallo.
Yes.
With Christina Ricci, Ben Gazzara, Angelica Houston, Kevin Corrigan,
Amazing.
a bunch of other people.
I saw this at the Kino. This would have been around about, I think it was the Kino. What's the one in Collins Street? That's the Kino, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would have been my film school days, like,
Yeah. I think it was definitely, so 98. So yeah, I graduated high school. And it was, and I can really relate to. There's a scene. The opening scene of the film is Vincent Gallo being released from prison. It's one of the kind of. I guess it's the plot of the film is that Vincent Gallo gets released from prison, but he's been lying to his family and told them that he's living a very successful life interstate, and so he gets released, and then he calls them up to tell them he's coming for a visit, and he's told them that he has a girlfriend. When in fact he doesn't.
So
He's
he
got a
needs to-
wife,
he
so he
needs
needs
to
to
get
find
one.
one. And he comes across Christina Ricci, kidnaps her, and forces her to pretend to be his girlfriend, all the while being a total asshole to her.
Yeah, I remember.
But she kind of still falls for him. And she hadn't even seen the fact he's got a massive, he's got a massive cock.
I do remember vividly the bowling alley scene, which I guess is popped up all over YouTube and whatnot. That was a great sequence.
Yeah,
He does a dance or something.
It's
like
fantastic.
That,
But the sequence that I most identify with is when he gets out of prison. They kick him out, and he immediately turns around and go, "Look, can I use the bathroom?" And they're like, "No, we can't let you back in." And that's the last bus going to town, so you better catch it, or you're going to be camping out here overnight. So he catches the bus, and he's busting it everywhere he goes. Every restaurant, he's turned away from every restaurant. He goes to the train station. The toilet's out of order. He goes into a back alley. Somebody turns up. Goes into a car park. Somebody's just hanging out in their car. So wherever he goes, he just cannot take this piss.
I feel like that's a real Vincent Gallo trope.
Yeah.
I feel like in movies he does that whole frustration, like he's trying to do something and can't get it done.
It really reminds me. I went to last time I was in Europe. I took a side trip to Brussels because I wanted to go to the Tintin Museum of all things, and it's post-COVID, and everything I'd seen on the internet talked about how everything's tapped now. You don't need to have money. So I did not get any euros. I just went with my phone to do a little tap. What they don't tell you is that every public toilet has an attendant in Europe, and you have to tip them €1, 50 cents, €2, whatever it happens to be, or you can't use the toilet. I did not have that. And so I'm just running around. Literally, it got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to have to piss in the street because I've just got no choice. Yeah. If it wasn't for the lovely people at an Ibis hotel they must have seen that it was literally started to come out my ears. They let me use the toilet. But look, it's just such it is a fantastic film. I regret not having seen it. I do wish there is another film made the same year starring Christina Ricci, which was the Other Side of Sex.
Opposite of Sex.
Opposite of Sex, which I also have never
Lisa
seen.
Kudrow, that's a great film.
And that was her kind of, that was a bit of a, not renaissance, it was the halcyon days for Christina Ricci.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd become a woman and she was making these, mature
these
films.
adult, and then to be followed up shortly after by things like Prozac
So, hang
Nation
on, what year was
and Black
this?
Snake
What year was
Moan.
this?
98.
So 96, she was making that bloody Gold Diggers, The Secret of Bear Mountain.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and she wouldn't have been too far off from Adam's Family Values and
Yeah. Within 5 or 6 years.
Mermaids. Yeah.
For sure. Wow. Well, there's 2 films that we regret not watching at the time. Makes me think we should watch more films now that have been released now.
Current films.
I don't know. Anyway,
I will go and see The Materialists, I promise.
Yes, I am waiting. That brings us to the end of an episode, Ben. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Was it Deep Blue Sea? That was a good one. A shark ate me. A motherfucking.
We would have a much tighter show if we just reacted to everything like
that.
Everything, yeah. The Secret of Nim.
Fuck, I really want to watch that again.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Threw that out there. We'll see you next week.
Bye.